Day 17 of my 100 Tiny Paintings challenge, and today I was inspired by something that's everywhere at the moment: poppy fields. Everywhere I've been recently, the poppies are in bloom and filling the countryside with these beautiful flashes of red against the green meadows and blue skies. There's something so peaceful about them, and today I wanted to capture that feeling of beauty, calmness, and the start of summer. I also wanted to challenge myself to paint a little more loosely. Having spent so many years creating highly detailed graphite drawings where every mark is carefully planned and controlled, I sometimes find myself craving the complete opposite. So letting the paint move naturally and allowing happy accidents to happen. And that's difficult. So instead of painting from a reference, I painted purely from memory and feeling. I imagined a rolling meadow filled with poppies beneath a soft blue sky and chose some of my favourite colours to bring that vision to life. For the sky, I used Cerulean Blue and Permanent Rose, and for the meadow, I used Sap Green and Hooker's Green. And for the poppies themselves, I used Cadmium Red. So I started by wetting just the top half of the page before dropping in sweeps of Cerulean Blue and Permanent Rose. It was important to leave some little areas of white paper for clouds and allowing the colours to just move naturally and fuse together to get those different concentrations of blend. So a little bit of lightness and a little bit of dark and shadow. This is one of my favourite stages because there's very little control involved. You simply guide the paint and then let the water do the rest. Once I was happy with the movement of the colours, I dried the sky completely and I started working on the meadow. So for the meadow, we also worked wet on wet. So I applied a clean water to the lower half of the page before loading my brush with Sap Green and sweeping those paint strokes downwards to suggest that rolling hills look and soft grasses. Then I lifted my sketchbook upright slightly, just at a bit of a slant, allowing gravity to gently pull that pigment downwards and create some natural movement through the wash. While the paper was still wet, I introduced Hooker's Green to create darker areas and add a little bit of contrast and depth across the meadow. The colours fused beautifully together and they create that really soft impression of grasses without needing to paint every blade individually. For the poppies, I decided to try something I don't use very often, and that's the technique called splattering. So I covered the sky area to protect it, loaded my size 2 brush with cadmium red, and splattered the paint across the meadow. The effect worked really well, but looking back, I think I should have waited until the meadow was completely dry before splattering because the surface was still damp and many of the splatters bloomed more than I intended them to, creating softer edges than I was hoping for. But hey ho, either way, it worked out and it looked quite effective. Once everything had dried, I added a few more clusters of flowers onto the dry paper to create stronger focal points before finishing with a few loose touches of Hooker's Green to suggest those taller grasses. And that completed today's tiny painting. A loose little meadow filled with poppies, inspired entirely by the beauty I've been seeing around me. One thing this challenge is teaching me is that I don't always have to be precise. After years of detailed graphite work, there's something incredibly freeing about letting go, embracing looseness and allowing the paint to create effects I could never have planned. And maybe that's exactly where the magic happens. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little painting, and if you're following along with the challenge, don't forget to tag me in your own creations. I will see you in day 18. Goodbye for now.